So this morning, I had a pretty cool lucid dream, and I wasn't gonna talk about it. I don't know why sometimes I wake up and I'm thinking, like that wasn't good enough to talk about or whatever. But it was a pretty good lucid dream, and let's see, I woke up at 5 a.m. Let's see, what time did I go to bed? 11, 12, yeah, so I got like 6 hours of sleep, and then I woke up, but I didn't really, I wanted to go to sleep after that, so I finally did fall back to sleep, and I had 2 more lucid dreams. The first one I don't really have to talk about, but that was just like, it's like me and my sister, like we're in my house, and I can't remember who she was. She was a friend. I can't remember if it was my friend or her friend, but it perturbed me because she had perfume on, and then she walked out of the house, and I told my sister, well, let's open the door. So I opened the door and let it all fumigate and everything. And it was virtual reality because I smelled the perfume. I actually smelled it. But that was the first lucid dream. That was no big deal. But then I had the cool one. And then I woke up at 8:30. I always get up about 8:30 now. Well, it was like 7 or 7:30, and now it's about 8:30 because I'm going to bed around 11. But yeah, okay, so the second one was the fun one. And and then and this mansion, well actually it started off in this in a mansion, a very creepy concrete creepy old mansion / castle, very creepy. And but yeah, I don't know why. I thought maybe it wasn't good enough to talk about, but it is. And this same mansion / castle, they took me to at least 4 or 5 other times, and then it dawned on me a few hours ago. I was like, oh yeah, that one experience I had a year ago where I said, let's see, I titled it. Oh, well, that had many lucid dreams in it. One of them was just a brief one where I was in my grandma's mansion. And then there was the mansion / castle, that same mansion / castle a year ago that they put me in this morning. And that was when me and my sister were walking down all the stairs, walking down all the way to the bottom level, except not the basement. And then there were like two black guys. They were kind of like twins as far as I remember, but they were ghosts. And anyway, so that was that experience a year ago, and that was the same mansion / creepy castle that they stuck me in this morning. And they took me to that same, the same castle this morning. They've taken me there 3 or 4 other times besides that time a year ago. But it started off. Now I don't know what the outside looked like. It would be cool if the aliens could be a little more detailed sometime. Like show me a glimpse of the outside, and then I'll be on the and then you know what I mean. But they not all my experiences are A+ experiences. This is like a B- or B experience. But oh yeah, you know what? Let's see, when I laid down. Yeah, and I did have as far as I remember, I did kind of have that weird feeling, like that dizzy feeling where they were like taking my ethereal body out, because they normally do it like right when I lay down. I think that was this morning. But anyway, so that's probably what they used that, and then they created my out-of-body experience this morning in this creepy old mansion / castle. Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but they can just, like make the energy feel however they want to make it feel, in the scenario. And okay, so basically it started off. Okay, it started off. It seemed like I was on like the okay, I don't know what level I was on, but it seemed like 8th or 9th floor of this freaking creepy ass castle slash mansion. And we were I was at a banquet. But let's see, the alien didn't tell me basically, but now that I think about it, it was like even though the aliens didn't tell me that under the scenario, it was kind of like in real life, like how you would like be on a volleyball team or basketball team, and then after the season's over with, you'll go out to dinner, or you'll have a banquet or something, or you'll go to a pizza place or whatever. That's what it was like, but the aliens didn't really tell me that. Okay, so I was on like the 8th or 9th level, maybe 10th or 11th, and I was in a pretty big banquet room, and there was a lot of people, a lot of people, and it was me, my mom, my sister, and my sister-in-law, and just a bunch of other people. I can't remember if it was my brother or my stepdad was in it, but my mom, my sister, me, and a basketball coach from a long time ago, and my sister-in-law. But I can't remember if I saw my brother or my niece or nephew. But my sister-in-law was definitely in it, and then there was millions of other people, like different ages. All I saw was white people, and different ages, like 20 to 50 or whatever. And so I was at a banquet, and so I was sitting there at a table with me, my mom, and there were several other people, my sister and several other people at this table in this creepy ass mansion / castle that the aliens taken me to 5-6 other times. And okay, so it started off like that, and I was sitting there, and I looked at my clothing and everything, and I had these like real pretty white slacks on, and like a very pretty white shirt / blouse, and beautiful white pair of like slacks. And I mean, like I was dressed up, and I never really dress up because I have no reason to. So anyway, so I was sitting there at a banquet dressed up, so that was kind of cool. And then the coach was sitting to my right. She just she wasn't really invited to our table, but she just came in and sat like right by me, to the right of me. And then, okay, and this is funny. And I don't know what direction we were facing. I'll just say we were facing north. And then over to my west, there were some doors, and my sister-in-law came walking in with a big platter of, it was a big platter of, what do you call it? What do you call it? Sweet potato. It was just a big platter of a sweet potato, and it was like in the shape, which there's no way you could do that. It was in the shape of a meatloaf, and my sister-in-law brought it in, and the aliens got all this idea because last Thanksgiving we did go to their house for Thanksgiving or whatever, and she was cooking, and so the alien got that idea for the scenario, and so she brought in a big old platter of, and it was just 100% sweet potato, and I was like, oh, because I told everybody I had food allergies and I couldn't eat anything under the scenario, and then I was like, oh, I bet you I could eat that, since that's just sweet potato. And the aliens know I've been wanting to buy some sweet potatoes, but I just haven't yet. I just been eating white potatoes. And so she kind of came in from the west, from some doors to the west, started walking east, and then she went north a little bit and set the platter down on the table. And as I looked around at all the tables, there were just massive amounts of like little trays of cookies and just tons of food everywhere. And but I knew I could probably eat the sweet potato. But the funny thing is, it was shaped like a meatloaf, so that was kind of weird. And like, there's no way you'd be able to do that in real life. Take a sweet potato and make it look like a meatloaf, or take a bunch of sweet potatoes and make it look like a meatloaf. 100% sweet potato. You're not gonna be able to do that in real life. And okay, so then and I do remember talking to my mom and my sister. The coach, as far as I remember, didn't talk much. And then I told everybody I had to go to the bathroom, so I was gonna go looking for the bathroom. So then I started I found the stairwell or whatever, and I just kept walking down, walking down, walking down, walking down, walking down, walking down, and I bet you I walked down. I mean, it's creepy as hell too, creepy ass stairwell, creepy ass, it wasn't creepy up in the banquet room, but as I got out of the banquet room, it's very, very creepy, the energy and everything. And I just kept walking down, walking down, walking downstairs. It was all concrete and shit, very creepy and old looking. And then it's like I made it to it was like the bottom floor, except the basement. I didn't go down in the basement area because there was about I was by myself for the biggest part of the time when I kept walking down these steps, these stairwells. And then when I got to the bottom floor, I saw, 8 or 9 people, and they were also looking for a bathroom. And but the basement was was the floor underneath. And I told people, I was like, oh, you don't want to go into the basement because it's really, really creepy in there, because I already knew I had been there before in other scenarios. In this scenario, I already knew that. And then, of course, after I woke up, I was like, wow, because even now, I know that they've taken me to that mansion before, or, they created, they copy, they do copycat scenarios or whatever. And I've been there before, and I've been to the basement, the basement many times before too. And I've talked about that in other scenarios. That one basement, where I went down in the basement, but it was still very, very creepy, and I saw a bunch of stuff, and I saw some beach toys and stuff. But anyway, so in this scenario, I didn't go down into the basement, but I was telling people, don't go down to the basement because it's very creepy. And we were all on that first level, basically, the first floor. And the banquet room, like I said, was up there on the 10th, 11th level. And I came across a couple small bathrooms, and I was like, wow, I didn't know these bathrooms were here, because I knew that mansion well, aka castle. I knew it well, and I knew where all the bathrooms were, but this was like a couple bathrooms that I didn't know about. And they were really weird too. Okay, so yeah, this was a couple bathrooms that I came across that I didn't know about, because I guess I was trying to head towards the bathrooms that I was familiar with. And then all of a sudden I saw these 2 small bathrooms. And I mean, it was just, I went into the bathroom, and it was just kind of like over to the left was 2 stalls. The doors were like really, really, really wide. And like the ceiling, it didn't seem very private. And I was trying to like close the door, and I was like, wow, like, I wanted to make sure I got the door locked and everything. But the locks on the door, when I went into the stall, I realized just on the other side was the men's 2 stalls or whatever. It was the men's bathroom. And but as I tried to and like I say, the ceilings were very, very, very high ceilings. And like I say, at first I went in there and I was like, wow, this isn't very private or whatever. So I closed the first door, into the bathroom. And then the 2 stalls, the doors were very, very, very wide. And as I went into one of the stalls, I was trying to lock, the lock. And it was just a very awkward lock. Like you couldn't even really lock it. It was just so weird. It didn't even make sense, the type of lock and the type of hook and lock that the aliens, but I know where they got that idea that the aliens created in the scenario. I know where they got that idea because, well, you've been in these old bathrooms and there's just one little hook and a little circle. That's what the aliens were trying to copy off of. But in the scenario, it was weird, you couldn't even lock it. It was just ugh. I think I finally did, but, well, I know I did, but it took me 5 minutes to figure out how to lock it to keep it shut or whatever. I don't remember actually sitting down on the pot, but I actually walked in there to the stall, and then I was trying to lock the door, and it was just very awkward. And at first I thought, it just wasn't very private. And then the aliens are always sticking me in bathrooms. They're obsessed with bathrooms. They're also always hanging out in the bathroom in this dimension. And okay, so after I did all of that, okay, here's the creepy ass part. and there's not much to the scenario actually, but I'm almost done. Okay, here's the creepy part. Okay, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. That's why I was going to talk about this scenario, because it really wasn't that long of a scenario. But it was so creepy. It was very, like I say, when I was in the banquet room, I was not so creeped out. It was when I got out of the banquet room and I started walking down all the steps, the different floors, and I just kept walking and walking, and it just kept getting creepier and creepier. Okay, but here's the creepy part. Okay, so, okay, wait, hold on. Yeah, and as I went into the bathroom, there was at least 10, 11 other people, 2 women, 7 men, hanging out there because they were also looking for a bathroom, because they were apparently, part of the banquet. And they were, standing around outside those 2 bathrooms. And I was just like, wow, I didn't know these 2 bathrooms were here. But like I say, as I was walking down the stairwells and stuff, I don't remember those people being around. It was just me. And, okay, so after I observed the bathroom that I didn't know about, these 2 bathrooms that I didn't know about, but like I say, it was funny because, like I say, in the scenario, I knew that I had already been in that mansion many times, and I was very, very, very familiar with it. But now I realize I'm really not familiar with it. But in the scenario, the aliens, made me think that I was 100% familiar. I'm really, really familiar with that mansion, aka castle, creepy castle. And so anyway, so after observing the bathroom and the weird locks and the big old wide ass doors, it was probably even too wide for a handicap chair or whatever. And they're pretty wide. Okay, then as I look, okay, so the 2 stalls were on my left, and I was standing straight ahead. The 2 stalls were to my left. And like I say, on the other side was the men's stalls. And I know the aliens got that idea at work because at work the bathrooms are like that. And the workers a long time ago, in 2010, in real life, they were like, they created the stalls in the women's side just like the men's side. They made them too narrow. They made them like totally narrow. And so I know that's the aliens got that idea from my brain. So anyway, so I was facing, straight ahead, and the 2 stalls were to my left with the big wide doors. And this is the creepy, weird, funny part. Well, it's not really funny. It's just creepy and weird. Okay, so I looked in a big office. This was like a big office area. And I saw this man. If it wasn't for this part, I probably wouldn't have talked about this scenario. I saw this man with like a black cape on. He had like a black robe, aka cape. And I immediately knew. I was like, wow. He looks demonic. And he looked, and I knew that he looked like he was about to do some kind of ritual, like he was about to be part of some kind of ritual type of thing, demonic kind of ritual, satanic kind of ritual. Like that's what I thought when I saw him, and I can't remember if he actually lived there. That's not the impression I got, that he actually lived there, but he worked there, and he had that big old office, the office room. And he was just walking around, and I was just like, wow. And then he looked over at me, and he didn't seem so creepy once I saw his face. And once he saw me, he looked about 50. And but yeah, that's the weird part. And but I really totally, under the scenario, I totally, when I saw, at first I didn't see his face. I just saw this big old black cape, aka robe, that he had on, and he was walking to the left, so I just saw his whole body and the side of his cape. He was walking to the left, and then when he looked straight at me, he didn't look so creepy, but I totally thought that that's what he was like about to be part of, like some kind of demonic satanic ritual or something. And there wasn't any other people in his office. It was just him in that big old office. And like I say, I didn't get the impression that he actually lived there, but I got the impression that he worked there. Yeah, so that's kind of weird. But anyway, so, yeah, and then I remember, and then I went back up into the banquet room, and I remember thinking, I wish my coach was still there, because she seemed to have, like, left. Because we never did talk or anything. But, yeah, so by the time I went back up there in the banquet room, she seemed to have, left for whatever reason. But anyway, yeah, that was, it wasn't a very long scenario, but it was still good enough to talk about, I guess, because of the creepy, well, like I say, they've stuck me in this mansion before. And that creepy guy, man. But yeah, that's kind of weird. Okay, well, thanks for listening.